Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Python Programming for Beginners series. In this video, we'll be talking about conditional statements and comparison operators. So what are conditional statements and what are the functions of conditional statements? Conditional statements are statements that are used to perform certain operation when a certain condition is true, and you perform another operation when this condition is false. Conditional statement goes with the if and else syntax. It goes by if, you have the if keyword, then followed by the condition. So we have if condition is true, then you have a colon followed by the code you want to perform. So you have perform this operation. Alright, operation. Okay, else, that means if the condition is false, you have the else keyword, then you perform another operation, or let's say perform this operation. Okay, this is the syntax for conditional statement. If keyword followed by the condition. So if this condition is true, you perform this operation. Else, that means if condition is false, then you perform this operation. This is the syntax for conditional statements in Python programming language. So we can as well comment this out and have a real world example. So for example, if you want to perform an operation that is checking if a user is logged in. So if the user is logged in, you may want to direct the user to the user dashboard, and if the user is not logged in, then you direct the user to a login page. So you can perform such operation in this manner. So you have the if keyword. Alright, before the if keyword, we can have a logged in variable. So you can say is user logged in. You can say you can have is user logged in, then you have this variable. So you can say either true or false. Let's first go with true. Don't forget that in your boolean, either true or false should always start with uppercase. So we have this variable is user logged in. Then we can have a conditional check. So if is user logged in is true, is user logged in is true, then we have a colon. So we want to print this statement. Print welcome to the user dashboard. So we print this to the user if the user is logged in. Else we start on the same line with the if statement. Else, that means if the user is not logged in, then you can print to the user, print you are not authorized to view this page. Kindly log in. Alright, so this conditional statement now is checking if the user is logged in. If the user is logged in, this line will be printed. Else, that means if the user is not logged in, if this condition is false, then this line will be printed. This is supposed to be page, not page. Alright, so we can run this and check. So we have our terminal, we have our console. Alright, you can see welcome to the user dashboard because is user logged in variable is true. If you change this to false, that means this condition is not true. So this line will not be printed. This block of code will not be executed. That means the else block will be executed. If you run this now, then you are going to have a separate statement. That means which says you are not authorized to view this page. Kindly log in. So this is all about conditional statement. If the condition is true, the if block will be executed. If the condition is false, the else block will be executed. And then it is worth noting that in Python programming language, your indentation is very, very important. The level of indentation determines which block of code will be executed. For example, in this if block, all the code that is that is at this level of indentation as this print will be executed. If this line of code is at the same indentation level as the if statement, then we are going to run into a syntax error. or indentation error. Let's run this and see what we have. So you can see we have an indentation error because a line of code is expected to be inside of this if block, and provided that this print line is at the same indentation level as this, that means this print is not in the same block, it's not in the if block. So your indentation is of paramount importance in Python. And that leads us to comparison operators. Comparison operators are used to compare two or more values, possibly if one is greater than the other, if one is less than, if one is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. You can also check if two values are equal to each other. So we have various comparison operators. So you can comment here, you can say comparison operators. In our comparison operators, we have greater than, we have less than, you have greater than or equal to, we have less than or equal to. We also have equal to if two values are the same. So we represent that with double equal sign. So this is greater than. You can use this to check, to compare if one value is greater than another value. You can use this to check if one value is less than another. This one you can use to check if it is greater than or equal to. This one is for less than or equal to. I use this to check if two values are equal to each other. So we can as well, we can have an illustration of those. Let's print. So you can say is 2 greater than 4. 2 is not greater than 4. So if you print this, you are going to have false. Let's comment this out. So we have a free console. So I can as well click this terminal, click this also. Let me run this again. So we are printing is 2 greater than 4, and that is false. So is 2 less than 4. We are comparing 2 and 4. That is true. Run that, you are going to have true. Is 2 greater than or equal to 4? That is false. 2 is not equal to 4, and 2 is not greater than 4. Is 2 less than or equal to 4? 2 is less than 4, so that is true, but true is not equal to. So this is going to be true because 2 is actually less than 4. Alright, is 2 equal to 4? That is going to be false. But is 2 equal to 2? That is going to be true. Right, so we have, you should not be confused about single or double equal sign. For single equal sign, just like this line where we have is user logged in to be equal to false, a single equal sign is used for assigning. This is called assignment operator. It's used to assign a certain value to a variable. But for double equals, you are comparing if one value is equal to another value. Like this line, we are comparing if 2 is equal to 2, which is true. But here we are assigning false to this is user logged in variable. Alright, so this is assignment operator, while this is comparison operator. You can also have this you can combine this with conditional statement to check, to make certain checks on certain conditions. So we can comment this out. We can say, okay, possibly if you have an helicopter rentage company, so you can check the age of your intending pilot. If the pilot is of 17 years and above, then the pilot is eligible to fly your helicopter. But if the pilot is less than 17 years, then the pilot will not be eligible. We can have a simple condition statement to check that. So we can have a variable, let's say, or we can have an input. Let's say pilot age. Pilot age is equal to, so we can have an input. We are asking the pilot his or her age. So here we can say, what is your age? Okay, so we are giving that input to the user to provide his or her age. What is your age? And you should note that whenever you are getting input from the user, your input will always be returned as string. So to convert that to a number, either integer or float, you can either use your int function or float function. So we'll be converting this to an integer with the int function, we can have a conditional statement to check if pilot age is greater than or equal to 17. So we are checking if the pilot is older than 17 or if the pilot is 17 years old. So we can print the statement, print you are eligible to fly a helicopter. Else, that means if the pilot is less than 17 years of age. So we have the else keyword followed by the colon. Else, alright, we print you are not eligible to fly a helicopter. Run that, execute this. So we are giving the prompts to the user, which is this line. What is your age? If the user is 17 years, so this line will be executed because we are having equal sign. So if the user says 17 years, then you are eligible to fly our helicopter. But if, okay, before we use another value, let's check if we remove this equal sign. That means we are only checking if the user is older than 17. If the user is also 17, then that means the user is not eligible because we are not checking if the user is equal to 17 years of age. So if we have 17 as our input, let's run this again. Okay, if the user says 17 years, then you are not eligible to fly our helicopter because we are not checking for equal value of 17. Alright, so if the user uses, let's say, 16, it's also not eligible. Let's run this again. Okay, I've typed 16, that is why we run into error. So what is your age? If the user says 16, you are not eligible. But if the user says 18, let's run this again. 18, and that means the user is eligible to fly our helicopter. So that is that about conditional and comparison operators. For your comparison operators, you have this greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and then equal to. So this is comparing two values, while this is assigning one value to a variable. Right? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I will see you in the next lesson.